Kreskin, and once again, I'm here to share what's on my mind. I had decided late last night to change the direction of my commentary because I think that it's time we address something that's becoming a critical situation at this moment. And by the way, folks, I studied the same moment, but you probably, like so many people, are not watching or reading the news as much anymore because it's getting tiring and it is getting slightly repetitious. And this is not a criticism of our news broadcasters, it's just what seems to be happening. Story broke, it's on the front pages of today's papers about Shelley Silver, who was a member of the New York legislature, and he was just released from prison in a wheelchair to go home and convalesce a little bit because he couldn't finish his 8 or 9 year term of the millions that he stole from human beings. They felt he needed after 8 months to be home and convalesce a bit. And I'm beginning to wonder, folks, I'm beginning to wonder where justice is headed in the United States. Because aside from accusing people, which seems to be a common thing with individuals who have agendas, whether they're in show business and canceled television shows or running for office, there seems to be this controversy of accusing people of being guilty of crimes. But then the other factor is, what about those who have been found guilty? And we do have a jury system in which a decision is finally made and there is a price to be paid. By the way, I think that one of the greatest, most powerful weapons that the enemy within the United States and outside the United States could have ever come across is the one dealing with this tragic illness that has paralyzed part of the world for over 1 year. That weapon, they could not have dreamt of having their fingers on a more powerful source. Well, let me tell you what threw me completely. I swear to you folks, this is not misremembering, but when I heard this and it was reconfirmed by a news person this morning, it's California that's thinking, do you hear me, of closing down the prisons. They think that it might be helpful to strengthen and shift and recondition prisoners. So they're considering over a period of time of releasing some prisoners from those in California. To be exact, over 76,000 prisoners. I talked to a producer today and said, Kreskin, I haven't left my home now for almost 1 year, except on 5 occasions I will not go out walking. Los Angeles area has become a dangerous area just to roam about. Let's forget about prison terms if we're going to play games and act like jackasses in the courtroom situation. But let's think about the children. Have we stopped to think about how we have affected young people in recent years? Sure, cities being closed down, states being closed down, which they never should have been. But let's think about the future of kids. You would want to have children growing up in a town where some of the 76,000 are inhabiting that town. You would want kids to be able to do something that we all did throughout our lives, went outside and played as kids, even at night, played hide and seek, and mom and dad were not afraid of where we were most of the time. Sure, the isolating of kids has been a very powerful weapon. The fact that they can't go to church, couldn't go to church, can't go to school, can't go to movie theaters, can't play in large groups and so forth. It is achieving what the enemy wants to achieve, and it's breaking down our relationship as a society. These things never should have been done. And the emptying of prisons, I can't imagine what kind of sanity the people have in the legislature who've announced this is what they plan to do. And then, are we really that worried about children? We've turned down walls. Biden welcomes children coming over boundaries where there had been walls and they would have been discouraged. Some are drowning, dying. Some are with drug groups. They're being used by the enemy, who is making millions of dollars, in some cases every day, because the use of children and flooding children into areas is sidetracked the officials who are trying to control this terrible, terrible underworld power that's coming in from Mexico and other areas. And children are being used as tools. But I want to tell you something else that really is alarming. Children, the plan is, also are going to be used as tools to help destroy our youth. You heard me, because you don't hear much about this. But this has been true for a number of years, those of us who are familiar with Mexico. There's now a Mexican underworld, a very powerful one, now more powerful than ever because of the money it's making in bringing kids and people into the cities of the United States. But the children are carrying, some of them, evil from Mexico into the United States to inflict our youth with child pornography and what have you. Because you see, what we're not reminded and told about is the number of Mexican fraudulent religions that children are a part of. And the purpose of those religions is to bring evil, to create a cult of evil. If you saw some pictures recently, they think nothing of killing other children. In fact, there was one scene where a container had some dozen or so heads of young kids, because part of the price they pay for whatever deeds they are is that they're given to this evil saint, and the kids are killed with shrines with the headless bodies, fake saints, central to the evil religion, which the President Biden has not told you. We don't know what kids are coming into this country who believe very deeply in this and are part of this movement. And these kids are expected by the Mexican mafia to scatter through the United States, helping those larger groups who plan to destroy this country. Yeah, Biden talks about the poisonousness of racism and critical race, which I think is a total lie. And oh, by the way, he's partly responsible. Those kids that are dying, that are crossing, he's partly responsible because he encouraged their coming when they should have been stopped. And don't say that these things just happen spontaneously. He should never have encouraged such. You know what we need to do, folks? We need to sit back, think about our kids. It's time they go back to school. Enough is enough is enough. We'll still pay the teachers when the kids go back to school. They should go out and play as groups. They should be able to go to church again. And they should be able to mix with new friends without our fearing, seriously being frightened of what the origin of these foreigners may have in their hearts and souls. We need to come back to the American spirit and reflect upon the history in the United States of the servicemen and women who throughout United States history fought and sacrificed their lives to protect our future, including the future of youngsters. Never our servicemen, our military, and our police. Oh yeah, the police. Without them, we are sunk. But you know something, folks? Look at history. My uncles were in the service. You never heard of a serviceman damaging the streets of our country. You never heard them burning down buildings or ruining people's businesses or ruining individuals' homes. They sought to protect the future, and that included the future of our children. They loved, and with great extended enthusiasm, supported the United States of America. Maybe we should stop and every day, at least once, announce our feelings, and that is, God bless America.